What is going on, y'all? This is John with Facemask Fantasy. We bring you new, up-to-date fantasy content every day right here on this channel, so if you have not subscribed already, please hit that button. But without further ado, let's get into some fantasy talk, and today we're going to be talking Elijah Mitchell, because the 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell rushed 19 times for 104 yards and 1 touchdown in Week 1 in a win over the Lions. Now, if anybody saw that coming, then I don't know, you must be a prophet, because Mitchell was not on anybody's radar Week 1. Mitchell was active over third rounder Trey Sermon, who was a healthy scratch, and RAHEEM Mostert ended up going down early in the game with a knee injury after only 2 touches, opening the door for Mitchell to lead the backfield. RAHEEM Mostert was later downgraded to out for the rest of the day, and a report just came out that Mostert is looking at a 8-week timetable as he chipped cartilage in his knee and was replaced on IR at 3:30 today. Now, Mitchell was an afterthought for much of the summer, but it appears he's ahead of Sermon in this backfield and needs to be added everywhere he's available this upcoming week. Now, who is Elijah Mitchell? The 49ers selected Louisiana running back Elijah Mitchell with the 194th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Mitchell is 5'10", 202 pounds, and he led the backfield in rushing in college in 2019 with 1,147 yards, and in 2020 with 878. He has 4.38 speed, and he has a 37.5-inch vertical, so he has some great explosion too, and both his speed and explosion allowed him to average 6.2 yards on 527 career carries in college. Now, for a smaller back, Mitchell's receiving profile is kind of forgettable. You expect smaller backs to be more pass catchers than straight up running backs. But he only had 49 career receptions in college and 100 pass blocking reps. So it makes sense as to why he was not included in the pass game in Week 1, but he's speedy, and that's all you need to succeed in Shanahan's offense. His best comparable on-player profiler is Jerick McKinnon, and while he does have a slightly lower BMI than I'd like to see in my first and second down running backs, which means he could struggle with staying healthy if he continues to get 19 touches a game on the ground. But we don't predict injury here, we predict production, and he's got the profile to get it done on the ground. He's on a team that obviously likes him enough to start him over someone drafted 3 rounds earlier in the same draft, and I believe he could be Mostert's long-term replacement. It was reported after the game that 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan said there would be no firm hierarchy in the team's backfield this season. So any running back could be a workhorse at literally any time. We all know that Shanahan, at least of late, likes to rotate running backs from week to week, depending on who gives them the best chance to win in all 3 phases of the game. At times in 2019, it looked like it was going to be Coleman who was the back to own, then it was Mostert, sometimes it was Breida. In 2020, sometimes it was Mostert, sometimes it was Jeff Wilson, other times it looked like Jerick McKinnon was the guy. So I need to see Elijah Mitchell do it when Sermon is active too, for me to anoint him to the RB1 spot for Shanahan going forward. Now, Sermon, the 2021 third rounder, was a healthy scratch for the 49ers in Week 1, but he wasn't dealing with an injury and he didn't suffer any last-minute COVID-related setbacks. So it was a coach's decision to keep Sermon on the bench. The only reason I think this happens is if he doesn't offer any special teams value. So they opted to deactivate him and elevate somebody who can contribute in more than one phase of the game. There may be other factors that factored into Sermon not playing Week 1, but all that I know is that Elijah Mitchell showed enough in relief of RAHEEM Mostert to shoulder a significant workload moving forward, and at the very least, he will never be a game day inactive as he contributes on special teams. Is Elijah the Niners' RB1 despite being drafted 3 rounds after Trey Sermon, who was a healthy scratch for Week 1? We saw it in 2017 with the Green Bay Packers. They drafted Jamal Williams in the 4th round and Aaron Jones with a conditional 5th. Jamal Williams was good, but Aaron Jones is next level RB1 level good. He habitually overperformed with limited touches, and it led to him being the RB1 that he is today. Trey was drafted in the 3rd, Mitchell was drafted in the 6th. The same thing could be happening here. No knock on Trey Sermon, but Elijah showed he was no slouch. He's the 3rd leading rusher on a very young season thus far through 1 week, minus the Raiders and Ravens game as they have yet to play. They play on Monday night. And if all you had to account for with picking up Elijah Mitchell is Trey Sermon and RAHEEM Mostert, I might be advocating spending all your money on Elijah Mitchell. But further clouding this RBBC in season-long leagues is the fact that Jeff Wilson is projected to be back after 8 games. And now Mostert will be back after Week 9. So it looks like the Mitchell and Sermon show for the next 8 games. But late in the season, and when it matters most, when your playoff hopes are on the line, when your championship hopes are on the line. He's going to be playing in a running back by committee with not just 2 other players in Trey Sermon and JaMycal Hasty, but with 4 other players in Trey Sermon, JaMycal Hasty, Jeff Wilson, and RAHEEM Mostert, all of whom the coaching staff has shown they have no issue playing outside of Trey Sermon thus far and giving significant snaps to. And we haven't really even mentioned JaMycal Hasty. He had 1 rush for 3 yards and 1 touchdown in week 1. So if nothing else, you got a goal line vulture, a touchdown vulture on your hands in JaMycal Hasty. So in season long, how much FAAB am I spending? I mean, Mostert runs a 4.32. Mitchell runs a 4.35, so they both have elite speed. It seems like Mitchell will be a guy who continues to get work. Shanahan speaks highly of him. He did very well with his opportunity today. I don't think I would break the bank for this guy because I do still project him to be in somewhat of a committee. Now, the most valuable waiver pickups in fantasy are usually made within the first 4 weeks. With your pickups in fantasy, you do have to strike while the iron is hot. Working against Mitchell is the presence of Wilson and Mostert come week 9, and the presence of Hasty and Sermon, who will vulture touches in the meantime, because that's just how this offense works with its running backs. Something lost in how good he did on the ground in week 1 is the fact that he doesn't get the passing down work. He didn't show he was particularly good at it in college, and they didn't operate with him in a receiving capacity in week 1. So 30 FAAB is kind of where I am on him. I'll likely be outbid in certain leagues, and I know the upside is there for sure, but I just wouldn't blow all my FAAB in season long week 1 on a running back that is going to be playing in some form of committee basically all season long. In a keeper or dynasty situation, that's where it changes. If he's available. In this situation, I'm spending the majority of my FAAB on Elijah Mitchell, as Mostert should be gone next year, and regardless of what happens with Sermon, Elijah should see enough work as Mostert's replacement to warrant value in long-term leagues as possibly the running back to own in this offense come 22 when all is said and done. So what do you guys think about Elijah Mitchell? Do you guys think he is the Niners' RB1 of the future? Do you think he takes the backseat to any of these other running backs in this room at any point in time this season? And do you think, like me, that he has a good chance to be the running back to own in this offense come 2022? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is John Alsace, and this is Facemask Fantasy. We bring you new up-to-date fantasy content every day right here on this channel, so if you have not subscribed already, please hit that button. Thank you for listening and have a great day.